brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys. Suds, Suds, Suds. It's time for more Suds.
It is definitely time for more Suds. Welcome to the Suds episode where everything good in life is worth discussing. I am one of your hosts here today, good old boy Mike.
Good old boy Michael.
Yes, jawohl. And good old boy Dave.
What's up, baby?
And good old gal Julieanna.
Hiya.
And good old boy Drew.
Hello there.
Today we're... actually, this is a sponsored episode by Warsteiner. No matter what you do, do it right. How about that? Everyone is very, very happy. We have a good sponsored show today. Today we're going to be discussing German Pilsner. But first, good old boy Dave is going to read all of the Suds rating for you today so you know how to sing along with us. Okay, good old boy Dave, let's hear it.
We will be tasting and discussing these beers and rating them with these Suds ratings plus our... I totally lost the German, so our signature belching sounds. Here are those ratings now. 1, that sucks. Give me anything but a bud.
He was doing good.
Dry. Was that a belch? Actually, that was Vi. So this is dry. What a relief. Fear. A body should really not make that sound. I don't know what that was.
It sounds like they look at the Irish.
I've had some beers, man. And 5. Listen to that hang time. Give me another.
Thank you, good old boy Dave. Appreciate very much. Today's show is all about the German a beer style episode. We have picked one beer to talk about today, and that is going to be German Pilsner. Everyone's very excited about this, jawohl?
Ist wunderbar.
Wunderbar.
Sehr gut. Sehr gut.
So today's show is going to be a little bit different. Some of us is going to be about a game show and about certain beers. So here's the beers we're going to be talking about today. Are you paying attention, boys and girls?
Ja.
Warsteiner, Premium Verum, Radeberger Pilsner, Kormbacher Pils. And to make it interesting, we're going to have a good beer from U.S. craft beer Pilsner called Victory Prima Pils. All good beers that we're going to get to talk about. We have a standby craft beer in case one of our bachelors keels over is Sierra Nevada Nuno Pilsner. I don't know why you call a beer Nuno, but whatever. So, you're asking standby for what? Well, we're going to be playing the German dating game with these Pilsners today, and our hosts are going to be representing each of the beers as bachelors, and I'll be playing double duty as a bachelor and host. We'll add a standby beer if we think one of the contestants is not rising to the occasion. I don't know who that would be. So listen, grab your favorite Pilsner, put on your best bell-bottom pants and leisure suits, and your best TV dinner. Because we have sampled some of these beers and rated all these beers blind, and we're going to keep our tasting comments honest, just like the dating game. We won't reveal each beer that we're talking about, but until the very end of the episode. So after each question, I'll pick a bachelor with the best answer. We'll discuss and rate that beer, our tasting notes. Remember, you have to stick around to find out the big reveal at the end to actually figure out which beer is which as we go along here. So as we're just like today, and as just in the dating game, we have our questions for our bachelors, and here is question number 1. You're out at a picnic with a date that is very ugly and has brought a tasty Pilsner but forgot to bring a beer opener. What do you do? Bachelor number 1.
I reach into my pocket because I always have.
A beer opener?
Yes. And then I chuggle it.
And then you chuckle it. How do you say chuggling in German?
They know what I mean.
Juggling
And
in
then
German.
he don't look so bad.
Bachelor number 2, what do you do on this very interesting date with no beer opener?
Well, I must say that if there is a challenged individual, and my accent just died there as well. That was just I went strangely Romanian, I think, for a moment.
It was doing pretty good. So what would you do on this date?
I just smash the bottle open and get immediately to the tasty Pilsner. It is the most important part, after all.
I agree. Get to the beer. Bachelor number 3, what would you do on this date? Well, I think that I would decide how much beers there was, and I would drink half of it. I would decide if my date got any better looking, and if not, I would leave. And I would take the beer with me and leave the ugly person there. That's what I would do. Very good. All right. Bachelor number 4, what would you do on this date with an ugly person that did not have a beer opener?
Well, first, I would lean in close and look deep into her eyes and say, "Oh my God, is that Superman behind you?" And when she turned around, I would grab the beer and run away and find an opener.
Pretty good. All right. So the judges have conferred, and we have a winner from this round, and it is going to be Bachelor number 2 that we're going to talk about our tasting notes for this particular beer. So we're not going to tell you what this beer is. We're just going to tell you what our tasting notes is. Again, you have to stick around to the end of the show to find out specifically what Bachelor is which beer is how you're going to play here. So what did you think about Bachelor number 2, Julieanna?
Well, it was okay. He was a little dark for me, a little too sweet for me, and didn't give me that punch that I'm expecting from a Pilsner.
Or a date.
Or date. And I don't think he likes hockey much either. That being said, I'm giving it a 3.
A 3? How about that? Ah, what a relief. Drew, what do you think about Bachelor number 2?
I have to say that I like it a little dark and a little sweet. It was very good. Very
About
good.
the beer?
Oh, yeah. We talk about whatever you want, Dave.
9.
I'd have to also give it a 3.
A 3 as well. Ah, what a relief. Well, Bachelor number 3 for me was, it was a little bit malty. Oh, Bachelor number 2, thank you, my co-host, reminding me. Bachelor number 2 is malty, a hint of citrus on it. Kind of tasty. This had all the elements I think of kind of in a good Pilsner. My Suds rating for Bachelor number 2 is a 3 as well. There we have it. And Dave, what did you think of Bachelor number 2?
Well, compared to the other Bachelors, number 2 definitely had a little bit more complexity in the flavor, a little bit more of a mouthfeel as well. I think that comes from some of the darker malts probably in it. I got a big hint of honey in the aroma. I think it was a very good beer. A little bit sweet, but I gave it a 3 as well.
How about that? 3's all the way around for Bachelor number 3. Well, there you have it, our first question and our first Bachelor beer to talk about as well. All right, next up, our second question for our Bachelors. Question number 2. You're at a party to celebrate a great beer with Pilsner beer, but after about 10 minutes, the beer at the party actually runs out. What do you do?
Well, with no beer, there's no party. So I go and find more beer, find a new party.
Good answer. Very good answer. Let's see. Bachelor number 3. I think that's where I'm doing it. Bachelor number 3 is, what would you do at this party? Well, I think that I would I'd look at other people. I'd wonder if there are any good-looking people, and I would decide if we were going to have funneling beer, I'd stick around because I love the funneling of the beer, and because I like to party, you know. It depends on the music as to whether I stay around, because I like to dance, I like to party. Not quite sure what I do if the beer ran out. That's what I do. So, bachelor number 3, what would you do?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, bachelor number 4.
Yeah, well, 3, 4, it doesn't matter. As you know, and as all Germans know, there ain't no party like a Pilsner party, because a Pilsner party don't stop until the beer runs out. However, in that case, 2 words, Jaeger bombs.
Banned once again.
Absolutely, we're going to be banned from Germany for sure. All right, bachelor number 1. You're at this very interesting party doing Jaeger bombs, but the beers run out. What do you do?
As a true German, and I'm sorry, I just do not have a good accent. Forgive me. And I just do not want to hurt Germany because I do like German beer. But if I was a German, I would always have beer around me, no matter what. So if the party runs out,
Yeah.
I'm going to the trunk of my car, and I'm drinking the beer I have in the car.
Very good. Good answers all the way around. So we are going to say that the winner of this round is bachelor number 3.
Wow.
Protest.
Yeah.
Protest.
Who's judging this thing?
Yeah, really. I think we need a recount.
I demand a recount. There are pregnant
Rigged,
chads everywhere.
All right, so our tasting notes on bachelor number 3 here. As soon as I get to the right page with those tasting notes, I'm going to ask Julieanna to lead us off once again here.
This bachelor was a wonderful bachelor. I loved this bachelor. To me, it was a great. It was very true to style. Very flavorful yet crisp, and that's what I really like in a Pilsner, is a very crisp drink. I gave this a 4.
A 4. A body should not make that sound. Drew, what do you think about this bachelor number 3?
I found it enjoyable. It had a very long finish. I would agree that it was it was a good representation of the style, and somewhat felt like going back to an old friend. I'd have to say it's a good 4.
How about that? A body should not make that sound. So bachelor number 3, I only wrote down 2 words, which is pleasant and balanced. I agree. This is a great beer to style. If somebody asked me, what a German Pilsner, should taste like, this would be a great example. I just thought it was again a very solid choice. The malt was in check with this, and that was the thing that I really found really pleasant, about this. This is something you could drink 3 or 4 of these beers very easily. My Suds rating for bachelor number 3 is also a 4. A body should not make that sound. Again, stick around to the very end, and we'll reveal which beer is which. All right, Dave, what do you think about bachelor number 3?
I really liked it. Was not one of my favorites of the flight, but I thought it was very good. It's clean, balanced, starts wet, ends dry. Take that to mean whatever you want. It had a good hop to malt balance. Could tell it was very well made. But I gave it a 3.
A 3. Oh, what a relief. Well, there you have it. 2 questions and 2 beers down in our lineup so far. Listen, we're going to take a break right here, and we'll be right back.
And now a word from someone that actually paid us for this.
Listen, if you're looking for something real, something to actually believe in, if you've got a story to tell, share it with anyone, with everyone. If you're absolutely determined, let nothing stand in your way. If it's forever, don't f*** it up. And if this is what makes you tick, come on, why not? And hey, why can't you ride a skateboard when you're 40 freaking 5? If you're going out, or even going up, cheers. If you can't stop, won't stop, then don't stop. I mean, I wouldn't. If you miss your wife, your kids, your dog, but can still find a little piece of home. If everybody can feel it. If this is your moment, breathe. If life is short, then don't waste the drop. If you've got it in you, then just let it out. If tonight is the night, then tomorrow can wait. If it feels so good, you want time to stand still, go for it, take it, chase it, know it, taste it, be proud of it, dream it, hunt it, fight for it, love it. But whatever it is you do it right.
Hey, welcome back to Sips, Suds, and Smokes. Today is a Suds episode. We are talking about German Pilsners, and we're having fun playing the German dating game as we're going along here. So we're having lots of fun talking about questions about German Pilsners along the way. So we are on question number 3 for your bachelors today. Hopefully you're having a very good time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Holy hey. Sorry about that, folks.
Ich bin krank.
I know, yes. I got some phlegm in my throat. So
You need more beer.
yeah, definitely more beer for sure. So here you are with question number 3 for your bachelors, okay? Everybody talks about having great beer. So what makes for a great German Pilsner, and why should we pick you as the best Pilsner beer tonight? Bachelor number 3. Well, I would pick me as the best Pilsner because I'm very mouth-forward. I taste like a very good citrus on the tongue. And all the cool kids on the block say I taste the best. So that's why I'm the best Pilsner. Bachelor number 4.
Yeah, that was very creepy, by the way. But I am the best Pilsner. I like all great things German. I am malt, water, hops, and yeast. And that is it.
Good choice. You know, Dave sounds like he is like, 6'8". With that accent.
I am on the inside.
That's funny. All right. Bachelor number 1. What would make you the best Pilsner?
I have the best malts, the most amazing hops, and the greatest yeast ever to give you that great flavor with that just hint of crispness at the end. I am the best of all worlds. I am the best Pilsner.
Good answer. We see if you are the tastiest here. And finally, bachelor number 2.
Yeah, I am the best Pilsner because I'm very traditional and conservative, but I still know how to have a very good time. And as others have said, I'm certified pure. I'm only the best. If you pick me, you never have to worry about anything impure getting into your beer. Just me.
I think we have to wonder about a lot of things about Bachelor number 2.
But don't you want to find out?
No.
Stick around.
I think you go to the clubs where they have Jaeger all day long. That's what I think.
Bachelor number 2 and Bachelor number 3, perhaps.
I'm so glad I loaded a laugh track for this. Like we really needed it. All right, here we go. All right, bachelors. Here we're going along. We have question number 4, and the final question.
Don't we get to talk about the beer?
Yeah.
The beer? Oh, yes, that's right, the beer.
It's why we stick around till the end.
I'm sorry.
You're not German.
Yes, we're going to talk about beer bachelor number 4. Correct. That's a go. So,
Recount.
Yeah, I know. like I can keep track of any of this. All right.
That one was actually a good choice.
Yep. All right. So this, I'll start off with this one. No, let's keep in the same order. Julieanna, what did you think about Bachelor number 4?
Bachelor number 4 wasn't bad. Bachelor number 4 was a little crisp for me. But he wasn't bad. I'm giving him a 3.
A 3. Oh, what a relief. Drew, what do you think about Bachelor number 4 here?
I thought it was well balanced. I wouldn't say it was too crisp, but I could see that. Definitely, malt forward in my opinion, but overall well balanced. Something I could definitely quaff on a hot summer's day.
And your Suds rating?
I'd have to say it was a 3.
3 as well. What a relief. I wrote down for Bachelor number 4 is sweet. It's barely malt, and actually I didn't really think that it had enough what I think of as a Pils. There were something hoppy that was in it as well. This is not what I think of when I think of a Pilsner, but it's still a good beer. I think based on some of the other examples we had in front of us, I just thought this wasn't quite what I was thinking of. My Suds rating is a 2. Was that a belch? And Dave, what did you think about Bachelor number 4 here?
I think Bachelor number 4 was actually really good. I would call it Pilsner Light, or maybe a Session Pilsner, something, because it was a very it almost tasted like a scaled down version. Like Drew said, I could drink a bunch of this stuff. My lawn would, all the lines would be all wavy by the time I got done mowing it, drinking this stuff. But I could really hammer it down, and I think I could really have a good time with it. Clean, malty, very light flavored. Probably the lightest flavored of all the beers in the flight. That might be what puts some people off. But I gave it a 3.
A 3. What a relief. Well, there you have it. All the way around for Bachelor number 4.
Dude, your lines are always off when you mow.
We'll talk about this at home.
All right. So now we move on to question number 4 for Dave, who is going to lead us into this question.
Well, I would say nothing.
Bachelor number 4.
I would say nothing, because how could you date someone who does not drink Pilsner? It makes no sense.
Bachelor number 1. You're with someone that does not like the Pilsner and has drummed it out. What would you say to this beer drinker, and why?
I may not be the super hoppy beer, and I may not be the heaviest of beers, but I am a balanced beer that you can drink all day long.
Very interesting. I wonder what they do. They probably have a Jaeger bomb. All right, Bachelor number 2. What would you do? You've been dumped by a beer drinker that does not like Pilsner. What do you say to that beer drinker, and why?
Well, Pilsner's not for everyone. Not everyone can be perfect, so they're just not for me.
So you would jump them?
I would dump them very hard.
You would go back to the party with the Jaegers, wouldn't you?
Oh, yes.
And finally, for Bachelor number 2, what would you do? You've been dumped by a beer drinker that does not like Pilsner. What would you say to that beer drinker, and why? Well, I don't think I would have anything nice to say to the beer drinkers that does not like Pilsner, because Pilsner is superior beer, not the best beer always, but there are people that probably like hibiscus beer. That's what they are. If they don't like the Pilsner beer, they probably like hibiscus beer or beers that you have to put the pinky up while you're drinking them. So I would not like to spend any more time with people that like hibiscus beer or pinky beer. So I would say, Auf Wiedersehen, goodbye. That's what I would say to them. And thank you, Bachelor number 4, for that riveting answer about pinky beer. All right, so out of all of those, we are going to talk about Bachelor number 1.
Really?
Is the beer that we are going to talk about our tasting notes, because he had the best answer for that. Julieanna.
Well, sadly. Okay, so what's interesting about the notes on this beer is that it is the official drink by King Friedrich August III of Saxony. Okay? Mm-hmm. That it is a nobility kind of beer. Mm-hmm. Okay. Those nobility people like their things a little sweet.
A lot of inbreeding.
It probably. This is
Sugar
just
was expensive.
I guess this just was a little too sweet for me in terms of what I find in a Pilsner. Yeah, color is good, but just a little too sweet and a little too honey for me. I'm sorry. 3.
A 3. What's the leaf? Jerry, what do you think about Bachelor number 1 here?
Well, I'd have to say Bachelor number 1 is a nice introduction to Pilsner for someone who might prefer maltier beer. It is definitely on the sweeter side, but as someone who's definitely more of a malt head than a hop head, I find it refreshing. I'd honestly, I'd say maybe a 4.
Wow. The body should not make that sound. Wow, I feel like the odd duck here. So about this beer, I wrote 3 words down: bitter, malt, and harsh. This is not a beer that I probably would have enjoyed. So I love your comments about that, Julieanna. The honey thing, when I went back and kind of tasted it, there was a sweet element to it that I didn't pick up the first time around that I had this beer. I guess because I put it down so quick. I just, I don't know. I just did not particularly enjoy this beer. My Suds rating for Bachelor number 1 is going to be a 1. That sucks. Give me anything but a bud.
Womp, womp, womp.
Yep, definitely. Sorry. Dave, what did you think about Bachelor number 1?
I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think it was super sweet, but I didn't think it was overly bitter. I thought it was actually, if you took a little bit of Bachelor number 2 and you put in with a little bit of Bachelor number 1 or number 3 and kind of blended them together, I thought you might get Bachelor number 1. So, not super balanced. I think it started really sweet and then ended a little bitter. So it was kind of weird, but I gave it, it was a drinkable beer. I'll give it a 3.
A 3. What a relief. Well, there you have it. We've gone through our 4 questions and our 4 bachelors for today. We'll take a quick break here, and we will be right back.
And now a word from someone that actually paid us for this.
Warsteiner Premium Pilsner. With its smooth, rich, full-bodied flavor, Warsteiner beer has satisfied beer drinkers around the world for over 250 years. Pure, refreshing, German imported quality with incredible taste. Brewed to perfection for people who appreciate the good things in life. For all those who live life for the moment, have a Warsteiner. Warsteiner. Because life is too short to drink cheap beer.
Hey, welcome back to Sips, Suds, and Smokes. Today is a Suds segment, and we are talking about German Pilsner beers, and we're having fun playing the German dating game while we're doing this, and we having lots of fun as we go along, and all the bachelors have answered all the good questions. Today's episode is sponsored by Warsteiner. No matter what you do, do it right. So, some really great beers, and now it's time to have the big reveal, because now we're at the end of our questions. So we're going to quickly confer with each other as we play a little bit of this interlude here and confer about what is going to be our favorite beer. All right, our judges have conferred, and we have decided exactly who is the winner of this. So first off, let's talk about which was the Sierra Nevada Nooner, which is a fairly new Pilsner to the market. I believe this beer was just recently reintroduced from Sierra Nevada. I believe that they made it, they stopped making it, then after they expanded into North Carolina, they actually picked this beer up again and started making it out of that plant. And I happened to see this as I was kind of sourcing these beers for the show, and I thought it would be interesting to kind of talk about this. So we'll lead off again with Julieanna with our tasting notes here on Sierra Nevada's Nooner Pilsner.
I liked it. I really did. It's similar to the Victory Pils. There is a nice balance to it. I think it's a little hoppier than I wanted it to be, though. I think that's my only concern about it. But I thought it was a very similar malt backbone to my Prima Pils, and I enjoyed it, and I hope that they continue to make it.
What's your Suds rating on that?
A 3.
A 3. Oh, what a relief. Drew, what do you think about Sierra Nevada's Nooner Pilsner?
I'd have to agree with Julieanna about the slightly more hops than perhaps I wanted, but I would posit also that that's true of a lot of Sierra Nevada's beers that I've had.
It's a West Coast Pilsner.
It's a West Coast thing, yeah. It reminds me a little bit, oddly enough, of their Celebration Ale, which I enjoy. I'm a fan of this. I'd have to give it a good 3.
A 3 as well. I would a relief. This was the first time I'd enjoyed this beer. Was today. My tasting notes for Sierra Nevada's Nooner Pilsner. It was a pleasant bitter. It was crisp. I really don't know if this is... I don't think this is a lager. I think this is an ale, which is a little bit different than a traditional Pilsner is usually a lager, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm really not quite sure if they've made it in a true lager style. But anyway, I really thought it had a lot going for it. It was interesting to put this in the flight today with 2 domestics and 3 German true Pilsners here. So my Suds rating for Sierra Nevada Nooner Pilsner is also a 3. What a relief. Dave, what did you think about Sierra Nevada Nooner Pilsner?
I thought it reminded me of the Radeberger, whatever. Rottenberger. I think it started off kind of sweet and then it ended kind of bitter. I liked it. It's pretty easy to drink. Not one of the top ones, but it was a decent beer. I give it a 3.
A 3 as well. What a relief! Wow, what an interesting experience. So we've had a lot of flights, and this is a slightly different style show than we've done in the past. I mean, what does this flight tell you guys about kind of the state of Pilsner beer in general? I guess the one thing, maybe to kick off, part of the conversation is this is the first time I've actually sat down and had a flight of Pilsners in a very long time. It's very rare for me to come into a bar right now and say, of all the choices, I'm going to have a Pilsner. So it's been a little while since I've come back around to this style. Anything strike you guys, about having a flight of Pilsners today in general?
Well, okay, what I found is interesting, and as I'm looking up some data about the Nooner is a Czech Pilsner.
I thought you were looking up the number of awards that Victory Pils has racked up.
No, but I know that. Anyways, well, there are a couple types of Pilsners. There's the Bohemian Pilsner, or the Czech Pilsner, which is what most people think of, I think, when they think of the Pilsner.
Yeah, I didn't bring any of those to the table. Yeah,
Pilsner
From Pilsen?
Right. But the Nooner is, I think, they were trying to be along that vein, versus the German Pilsner, which is my number 1 pick. So, that being said, I think there is a bit of variety here that we noticed today. Part of it is geographical in the sense of Sierra Nevada versus my favorite one. But even in the German beers, you could sense that there was, some were a little bit hoppier, some were a little bit maltier. So, you're going to get variety. Not every Pilsner is the same. So, just like any other style of beer. So, yay.
To maybe be boring, I'm just going to kind of reiterate, it's not something I don't typically seek Pilsners out unless it's a hot day and I'm sweaty and thirsty, and then I seek Pilsners out, but it's rarely more than one at a time, and I think everyone just kind of falls into their old standbys quite easily. Tasting a flight of Pilsners in this way let me see nuance and subtlety in beer that I might have otherwise written off. So if Pilsner is something that you would typically write off, perhaps a flight might be something you should do as well. It might open your eyes. Yeah,
I agree. It was a illuminating moment, I think. Dave?
Well, I think that certain macro breweries out there have turned Pilsner into a dirty word with a lot of particularly craft beer drinkers. You taste a certain kind of beer, I won't name any names, but you start to think that's what a Pilsner is supposed to taste like, and really, if you seek out what a Pilsner truly is, you understand that you can have a really light lager, but it can still have a lot of flavor.
I wonder if this style of beer has suffered a little bit from transportation fatigue. You throw a lager in a hot shipping container, on a cargo ship.
Yep.
And bam, there it's gone.
Danke.
Yeah. So I know that there were some German breweries at one point in time, they were actually manufacturing their lagers here in the U.S.
Like contract brewing.
Right.
Yeah,
correct.
Sure.
So
good idea.
They were just they were maintaining the same continuity of the recipe. They were just basically manufacturing and bottling, here on U.S. soil. I want to say Pilsner, Uruguay, was one of the I think one of the groups did that. I think I want to say they're owned by Carlsberg for some reason.
Yeah, that
but
sounds about right.
I think that they started doing that, probably back in the late '80s, and that was the way they kind of maintained the continuity of their beer, to make sure that it maintained a certain measure of quality. Because dropping a lager, in a long distance ride, I got to believe that's got to be a little tough to do. Although I would say that some of these beers I thought were holding up really well.
Absolutely.
I think I had very guarded expectations about some of them. And I think that's part of the reason why maybe I shy away from it, going up to a bar and saying, I want that, because if I have like a fresh, local craft beer that's made around the corner versus a Pilsner, I know lager that's been shipped all over the country.
Sure.
Yeah, no contest for me. So
maybe they'll start canning. We've already said that that's a good way to maintain a beer's flavor profile.
Yeah, I agree. But even then, I think a lager will drop, quite a bit, even with a temperature, a major temperature change. Yeah, you stick
altitude. CO2 go in and out of solution.
Yeah,
it's definitely gonna have an impact.
So then let me pose this question, because my brain's starting to think here.
Oh, Jesus.
I know.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So we're here in America, and we tend to enjoy, right now, hoppier beers.
And Jaeger.
And sure. No, but I mean, here's my question. Okay, so our number one beer that we picked was the Prima from Victory. And yes, it's a great standard, okay? But what I'm wondering is if we were in Germany, would we still pick that beer while we are in the area where we would be getting fresh versions of true Pilsners? Do you know what I mean? Because, I mean, obviously, Germany, this is where it started and where it was founded. So having fresh versions of that and having, you know what I mean? Like, our taste buds are Americanized, for lack of a better word, because our flavor profiles here in the States are different than those in Germany, if that makes any sense. And I'm just wondering if we're leaning towards an American beer because that is our version of what we see in a Pilsner versus what we're getting that's imported from Europe. Do you know does that make any sense?
I think Julieanna raises a very valid point. Although I would posit that American beers are gaining traction in Germany in a big way. Purely because we do play around with things and do things differently than they've been doing for hundreds or thousands of years. Maybe.
A lot longer than you've been making that crappy craft beer.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it's not kosher to reference a different episode, but, we talked about repetition, and repetition really breeds perfection. You get it down, you get that consistency right.
Yeah.
But it also sort of saps creativity.
Yeah.
Because
it becomes stagnant.
And maybe that's what the old world's going through right now. Who knows?
Well, I guess when you were posing the question, I think the one experience that was coming to me was one of my favorite stops here in the U.S. is the Hofbrauhaus in the Cincinnati area. It's one of the few true German, beer halls that is actually owned by, a traditional, German brewery. There are other really great, German beer halls, all over the U.S. I've been to a lot of great ones, but that one in particular is, it is the only Hofbrauhaus in, on U.S. soil. And, I really enjoy my visits there, and you're right. I mean, as much beer as I enjoy, I really enjoy, the fresh beer. I would very gladly have a 1 liter, of Dunkel there any day of the week. It was it's one of my favorite Dunkels. And there's something about having it right there in the Hofbrauhaus that, it's the freshness of having that made right there is pretty cool. And I don't remember a whole lot about even if they make a Pilsner or if they do. I really don't remember a whole lot about it, but I do remember many of the other beers that I've had there, and definitely the Dunkel is something that always stuck out to me. So, yeah, you can get a true German experience, on U.S. soil with fresh German beer. Maybe not any of the ones we had tonight, but yeah, it's definitely possible.
Well, and now this makes me think again. Okay, so I happened to be in St. Louis for a true Oktoberfest one year. And, the big boys were there. They know who they are. But there was a lot of brands from Germany that I didn't even know of at the time, because this was a few years ago. But little known Urban Chestnut was there, and what's interesting is that out of all of those,
it makes a lot of really good German style beers. Yeah.
Okay, but the thing is like the Urban Chestnut appealed to me.
I love
more
their Schwartz beer
than the other beers that were out there. Do you know what I mean? And those were traditional. Came from Germany, while the Urban Chestnut is American in the sense that it's from St. Louis, although the brewer is German and is an expat from one of those big places down the street around the corner.
Maybe the freshness played in again.
Maybe I don't know. Yeah, it makes me want to go visit Urban Chestnut again now.
Well, a really great, interesting conversation, about our flight here, and just to remind everybody, the winning bachelor of our show here is Victory Prima Pils from Pennsylvania.
Homer.
Really great stuff. Thanks to all of our listeners here on Sips, Suds, and Smokes. You can catch all of our episodes online on iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Uncle John's Basement, and Spreaker, our native media host. Our terrestrial radio stations are always expanding and questioning every single time we try to say anything with a fake German accent of going, oh my God, let's shut them off. Listen, if you really love this show, send them a really great German Pilsner of your choice, along with a note, and copy us as well. Listen, you can reach us online anytime at info@Sips, Suds, and Smokes. Dave, how can fans send you a free beer and Belgian chocolates?
Send me a note at leavethecorkin@sipsudsandsmokes.com.
Our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter every single day at SipSudSmoke. Our Facebook page is always buzzing with lots of news. This episode, again, is sponsored by Warsteiner. No matter what you do, do it right. Listen, do us a favor, take the time to rate this episode. If you're listening to us online, that's a big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well. I want to thank my co-hosts and bachelors here at the table. Dave, thank you for being here.
Start wet, end dry.
Julieanna, thank you for being here. I know he's questionable.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Drew, thank you so much for joining us for this episode.
I might be back.
This is good old boy Mike asking you to join us once again and keep on sipping.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see you all next time.